Before getting started on this week's episode, here is a word from our sponsor. It is, I just a general mumble. That's it. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to this week's What's Up With Me, a semi-autobiographical podcast about me, Connor Kvietchain, mostly my comedy life. We have different projects going on now. Also, I'd like to welcome you to the Closet Studio, something that I've built. Thank you all to everyone who's watching on YouTube. If you are listening along on Spotify or wherever else, thank you to you as well. This week's going to involve a lot of visual stuff, so feel free to hop over to YouTube if you are listening, or if you just want to imagine it. Good for you. I love that. Oh, geez. Where are we at? What are we doing? What is this about? Well, this is about me. Used to be talking about curbside comedy, a way to promote myself. You can follow me at Connor Kvietchain, Connor_Kvietchain across social media. And curbside comedy's been slow. Things are always on the horizon with it. But when things are slow, creative people fill their time with creative activities. And that's exactly what I've done. For those of you who have been following along, welcome back to the Survivor campaign. #CastConnor on Survivor. That's what this episode's all about. All about Cast Connor on Survivor, which has been a ton of fun. It's been a great experience. Positive and negatives across the board, the whole human existence. And if you've been following the campaign, you know I'm trying to do it in two ways. I'm trying to bring those whole cold, hard statistics and that empirical evidence. And boy, do I have some of both of those. To recap, for anyone who is new, for the last 3 Christmases, have submitted a Survivor application for my mom. That has been my Christmas present to her. And boy, wouldn't it be a much better Christmas present to be on the show rather than just to say, well, here, Mom, here's an application. And if you actually watched all of my Survivor applications, which are now available on YouTube, which has been part of the Cast Connor on Survivor campaign, you can see a trend. The trend is me growing in frustration with each application. I got some feedback about that, and I will talk about it later on. But here we are. Let's start out from the very beginning with the empirical evidence on why Connor should be cast on Survivor. Here we go. And yeah, I'm a student. Empirical evidence. I'm a student of Survivor. In this month of February, and I'm recording on February 13th, so it's 2 days before the episode's release. It'll come out on the 15th. In 13 days, plus like 1 or 2 at the very tail end of February, these are the seasons of Survivor I have watched in full. Survivor Cook Islands, Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, Survivor Cagayan, Survivor Cambodia, Survivor Korong, Survivor Game Changers, Survivor Winners at War. For those of you who are not counting along, that is 7 full seasons of Survivor in 13, maybe 14 days. And if you are concerned for me, I really do appreciate it. That's an alarming rate. It's 14, 15 episodes a season, depending on if I watch the reunion show. I put it on the background when I do some work, but yeah, I've been studying up. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's almost a little sad though, because the more you watch Survivor, the more you realize they repeat challenges. And challenges used to be my favorite part of the game, but now I'm like, oh, I've seen this. I kind of know how it goes. Still interesting to see who wins, but I've been studying. So outside of that, though, in the world of the campaign, if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll see on my actual page a growing 9 by 9, or what will eventually be a 9 by 9 uh, post that says something very specific about me being on Survivor. Um, it's been growing over time. I'm actually still figuring out how to end it because I think I'm gonna have more than 9 posts about this campaign, but it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to build that stuff. I don't know who's actually following along stuff being made, but I'm realizing something that within comedy, there's kind of two pieces to it. And there's the obvious piece and the less obvious piece. The obvious piece is you need to be funny. You need to be funny to be successful in stand-up comedy, period, end of sentence. The other piece of being successful in stand-up comedy that I've realized is you need to have people who like you. That's really it. You need to get good at marketing. And this campaign has kind of allowed me to play around with that and funnel that creative energy and track success based on a very um, narrow path, which has been Survivor. And it's been great. The feedback has honestly been great. So many people have that I know have reached out and been like, wow, Connor, I really hope you get on the show. Um, if you're watching along, if you're listening along, I should say, you're gonna miss out on some of the visuals. But um, my friend Katie sent me a message saying that her neighbor had applied 12 times and wished that I had better luck. And then I asked her to send something over to the Survivor people, which she did. Friend Hannah, without me even asking, sent something over to the people on Survivor the very first day the campaign started. My friend Kayla tweeted at people on Survivor for me, and Reed Chuda, a New Hampshire comedian, I'm just making sure I pull up the post so I get his words right on here. I think it's at the bottom of my page. Um, he he sent something over. He tweeted at them. And he thought I should make T-shirts for it. Where is it, Reed? Oh, it said hashtag 3-time applicant or 3-time applicant. He's like, you should make those shirts for your mom, which I think is a pretty great idea. Mom, I hope you are watching this, but I also hope you don't watch this part because that may be your next Christmas present. So people have been reaching out and it has been a lot of fun. Um, it's just cool to see people interact and engage with what you're putting out there. Um, and it means a lot. Also, what does that say about my personality? People are like, yeah, you belong on Survivor. I'm like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? But engagement's engagement in some ways. And I really appreciate it. It's been cool because I don't actually know who follows it, who likes what I'm putting out there. And the bigger piece about comedy and entertainment in general is you're supposed to be entertaining the masses, the people. And in stand up, you hear that feedback, but on the internet, it's kind of like a black hole and you don't know who actually enjoys it. So when you hear people be like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Good luck. It means a lot. And I think Survivor should note that already established fan base of me being on the show. um, then there's a piece about Outwit. And I was trying to, if you've been following along, I said I was going to make a video about Outwit, Outplay, and Outlast. And I realized that's a hell of a lot of work. That is so much work. Trying to by yourself be the crew of the entire shoot and the entire cast. And Survivor, if you've watched the episodes as I have and have intently, then you will know that it is almost always not a single shot. There are a few times where there are single shots and they're strategically put to move the storyline along. But if you're talking about challenges or like people on the beach, there's always multiple people in there. And that's just a whole mess. But I wanted to prove how I could outwit people, and I unwittingly did that. I posted something on Instagram uh, of the buff that I got in the light box that I have for product photography here in the closet studio. And multiple people, my friend Jack, my friend Peter was like, "Whoa, man, that is sick. Congratulations." And I like played along for a little bit with both of them. I was like, "Oh, yeah. What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh, are you on the show?" Or, some people figured it out on their own, but it's like, outwit. I outwitted them. I just really appreciate their support. But so I realized though in the video, it's going to be a challenge to make something that shows I'm outwitting with all these layers. So I just made a sketch and I will play that for you in full right here. This is why I was asked why I may be voted out in the first one. Enjoy this. If you're listening, enjoy the audio. If you're on YouTube, enjoy the visual. Survivor's a tough game. I didn't realize how draining it would be sleeping out in the elements. But I feel like the challenges is what brings people together. I feel like I've really bonded with Nate and I can trust him in this game. Connor thinks we have some sort of bonds going on. We don't. That guy is weird. Last night the tribe decided to snuggle up. We made a big spoon train. Kept using the word spoon. Nate was my big spoon. I feel like it really bonded us. First chance I get, he is gone. What can I say? Nate just didn't like being big spoon. I get it. So that's the empirical evidence, a little bit of the outwit. Look forward to the outplay and outlast in whatever form that may take across social media. We're going to talk about cold hard statistics, though, the second piece of this puzzle. And if you've been following along, you know I did a poll on my Instagram, and it came back that 77% of people think that I would do well on Survivor. Huge compliment. Thank you so much. But I wanted to prove that it's confidence behind what I do. And this is like a US presidential poll. I want to see with 95% confidence how many people across all of Instagram think that I would do well on Survivor. And let me tell you, I had almost completely forgotten all my statistics knowledge when I did this, but I have calculated that 95% confident level of how many people think that I would do well on Survivor. And it brought back nightmares, memories, good times, bad times. I took AP stats in high school, and it was I ate lunch in that class. It was cool. Um, but I did it all. I did it all. I found the P hat. I found the N. I found the X. I found Z alpha over 2. And if you're interested in the notes for these shows, and maybe on Instagram, I'll find a way to put it up there that's engaging. You can find the formula that I use. You can check my math, and this is what it comes out to. So if I calculate the error bound proportion, the EMB, and that equation is Z alpha over 2 times the square root of P prime times Q prime over N, where Q prime is 1 minus P prime. Then we use use a graphing calculator, and you find that the EMP equals 1.96 times the square root of 0.77 repeating times 0.22 repeating divided by 336, which was our sample size, find out that our variance is 13.5%. And therefore, Connor Kfiatchain's Instagram at Connor underscore Kfiatchain estimates with 95% confidence that between 90.58% and 63.42% think that I would do well on Survivor. Let me repeat that. 90.58 and 63.42% think that I would do well on Survivor. 95% confidence. Now, I know what you math people are thinking. Is that result statistically significant? I did not do that math. I will do that math next time on the show. But if you want approval of those numbers, I put out a slidey poll on Instagram, and this is what it looks like for those of you who, I think it would be over there actually on the screen. For those of you who are listening along, it was like up in that 90% range. Think that we'll get on the show for sure. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, another thing about statistics is you need to have a truly random sample. Are the people on my page that follow me and already know me and like me in some type of regards truly random? No, but numbers show out, I guess. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to take the upper end, the 90, almost 90.5% and tell Survivor that's the amount of people on Instagram that think that I would do well on Survivor. I think that's really going to grab their attention, that cold, hard stat, and then follow up with that slidey scale. The slidey scale poll. Also, shout out to opentextbc.ca. That is basically how I retaught myself statistics. Wrapping things up. There's one more empirical evidence piece to this whole campaign, which will conclude in the next What's Up With Me. I posted on Reddit for the first time on the Survivors subreddit, on their casting subreddit. And it was cool. I will 100% attest to how dedicated Survivor fans are. They are so dedicated. I could see the numbers of views on the application that I posted on Reddit climb throughout the day that I posted. I will say the first comment on my Reddit post was, for a stand-up comedian, this wasn't very funny. And what I took from that was, it's a little bit funny then. I get it. There's some projects where you finish them and you're like, well, this is what it is. This is what I could do with what I made. And it was my first time doing that type of thing. So you can kind of tell it's like, this isn't A+ material, but this is something I know my mom will like and something that I can still stand behind in some ways. And I will say that feedback, and I mentioned this on Reddit to the person who said, I'm like, I really appreciate that. I actually sent them a message. I'm like, it's hard to get candid feedback, especially when your bubble's so supportive that sometimes you're like, well, is this actually, what I'm hearing from people? And you can kind of tell when your belief of what it is and what people are saying are a little bit off. And so someone coming out and be like, that's what I think. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I feel like people should say that more often. And I think people creating content should not be deterred from hearing it's not funny. I think that's that's incredibly valuable to hear, because then like, okay, let's change directions. And I think taking away for what I heard about it on Reddit is people didn't like the character choice. And again, if you followed all three applications, you'll see like I chose a character who's whiny. Um, let's actually this is the feedback that I got from someone on Reddit. And it's before anything else, he says, I shouldn't gender the person. This person, he, she, they, them, before mentioning anything else, you come off very frustrated throughout the entire video, in a few cases entitled and whiny. That's the character choice I made. So for me, I'm like, that's pretty sweet. That's the direction I went, and that's what came off. Cool. Flip side to that coin, people didn't love that character choice, which is good to know moving forward. Um, and that's good. I appreciate it. This person actually, as another testament to how dedicated the Survivor fans are, had about 13 paragraphs worth of feedback. Some of them were bullet points, so it was hard to kind of gauge what classified it as a full paragraph, but 13-ish paragraphs and like people that I could reach out to. Um, so it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And for the next show, I'm going to see if I can get a guest on, maybe someone who's been on Survivor. I don't know. I'll follow up. I'll follow the instructions that someone said, and people can rest assured that there will be a part 4 to the application process at some point, taking this feedback that these people on Reddit gave me, which was awesome. Survivor, you have an incredible fan base. When I thought there's a list on the application page that's like, what's your dedication to the show? You don't never seen an episode, watch some, super fan. I was like, I'm a super fan, I've seen some seasons. Oh no. Oh no. Super fan is a different level altogether, because there are people that love that show. So way to go, Survivor. Way to build a good brand. Way to have 40 seasons of absolutely incredible fans. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So that's where we stand. We have one more push in the Survivor campaign, at least 2 more videos coming out, and we'll see where it goes. If you have been enjoying the campaign, send the stuff over to Survivor. Let's just see. It'd be fun to see how far this thing goes, who actually enjoys it. If you're not loving it, let me know too. That's good feedback. But yeah, Survivor. Cast Connor on Survivor. Make sure you ask yourself what's up with you. I appreciate everyone who has been listening, watching, following along. We're going to make it onto the show, maybe. And oh, also a big shout out to my friend Rochelle, who helped me film the short that I made, the little sketch I made about Survivor. With her directorial help, I was able to string that together. Other than that, yeah, let's see if we can get a guest on the show who's been on Survivor for the next episode. Check in with yourself. Let's see where it goes. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Did you have a good Valentine's Day? I don't know. I didn't. So let's just roll it out. Maybe I did. It's still coming. It's tomorrow. I got salsa. It's going to be a good Valentine's Day. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. Make sure to like it and subscribe for me to get on Survivor.